While potatoes are a dominant feature in modern gardens, Amish communities have successfully preserved remarkable alternatives that provide superior nutrition with considerably less effort. These 10 forgotten crops outperform potatoes in nearly every conceivable measure, all while thriving in conditions where other plants typically struggle. Dandelion. The unassuming dandelion stands as a nutritional powerhouse. Its familiar yellow flowers and serrated leaves contain more vitamin A than carrots, a greater amount of iron than spinach, and a higher carbohydrate content than potatoes when compared pound for pound. Amish families make it a point to harvest them every spring. The entire plant, from its flower to its root, is edible. The leaves, which possess a bitter taste, become quite palatable after a brief 20-minute soak in cold salt water. A sweet, honey-like syrup can be made from the flowers. Furthermore, during winter months when coffee was either scarce or prohibitively expensive, Amish families would unearth the roots, roast them slowly, and then grind them into a substitute for coffee that contained no caffeine. What I find particularly fascinating is this plant's ability to flourish in soil conditions that are far from ideal. While potatoes necessitate fertilizer and continuous attention, dandelions practically offer themselves up for harvest. Dandelions also serve as natural aerators for the soil. Their robust taproots break apart compacted earth while simultaneously drawing nutrients from deep beneath the surface. These nutrients eventually benefit neighboring plants when the dandelion leaves decompose. Historically, dandelions have found use for medicinal purposes across a multitude of cultures. The milky sap contains compounds that may offer relief for skin conditions, whereas tea brewed from the leaves has been employed as a gentle diuretic. One farmer I know began harvesting dandelions after his physician recommended incorporating more greens into his diet. It's the perfect hobby, he says. It's the only plant where your spouse thanks you for forgetting to weed the garden. In the kitchen, inventive cooks integrate dandelions in a variety of ways. Young leaves introduce a peppery zest to spring salads, while the flowers can be battered and fried to create fritters or fermented into dandelion wine. The roots, when prepared correctly, present an earthy flavor profile reminiscent of chicory. Beyond their nutritional and culinary uses, dandelions function as vital early-season food sources for bees and other pollinators. Their capacity to grow in disturbed soils makes them pioneer plants that contribute to restoring ecological balance in damaged landscapes. Despite their common reputation as garden nuisances, dandelions represent one of nature's most versatile and resilient plants, offering sustenance, medicine, and ecological advantages wherever they take root. However, it doesn't quite measure up to the crop I plan to reveal a bit later in this presentation. Sorrel. Sorrel delivers a zesty, citrus-like flavor without the need for cultivating fruit trees. Unlike annual plants that demand replanting each spring, sorrel faithfully returns for a period of 8 to 10 years once it has become established. This perennial powerhouse reemerges at the very first indication of warmth, frequently providing fresh greens while snow might still be lingering in shaded areas. Amish gardeners highly value these early harvests, especially when winter food supplies are dwindling and fresh vegetables are in short supply. The secret to sorrel's distinctive mouth-puckering tartness lies in oxalic acid, the same compound present in rhubarb leaves, though in significantly safer concentrations. This natural acid imparts a bright lemony kick to dishes, eliminating the need for actual lemons. Merely 6 small sorrel leaves possess the ability to transform a bland soup into something vibrant and multifaceted. Traditional Amish healers have long incorporated sorrel into spring tonics, holding the belief that it aids in cleansing the blood after long winters reliant on preserved foods. Modern scientific inquiry has lent some credence to this folk wisdom. Sorrel contains compounds that bolster liver function and assist with digestion. The Farmer's Almanac advises planting sorrel at a considerable distance from your bedroom window unless you happen to enjoy midnight dashes to the outhouse. As an Amish saying goes, sorrel soup at supper means a marathon at midnight. Containing approximately 4 times the vitamin C of lettuce, it is hardly surprising that Amish communities have maintained these patches across generations. Preservation techniques extend sorrel's utility throughout the entire year. When chopped and frozen in water-filled ice cube trays, the leaves retain their flavor for several months. These sorrel cubes can then be added directly to soups or stews during the winter, bringing a welcome taste of spring to the darkest days of the year. The versatility of sorrel is not limited to soups. It also enhances salads, sauces, and even beverages, where its tangy profile introduces complexity. Sorrel's adaptability to a range of growing conditions makes it an excellent choice for novice gardeners. It can tolerate partial shade, adjust to various soil types, and requires only minimal upkeep beyond occasional division to preserve its vigor. Its appealing arrow-shaped leaves also add visual appeal to garden beds while ensuring consistent harvests. Before I unveil that secret crop I mentioned earlier, let's warm up with one more. It serves as the perfect introduction to what's coming next. The only product I'll ever promote on our channel is a book by Claude Davis, a veteran prepper, concerning 126 superfoods and preservation methods from crisis periods like the Great Depression and wartime that are virtually impossible to find elsewhere. I decided to promote his book because I believe we are the last generation capable of sharing these techniques and superfoods with our children or grandchildren. It would truly be a shame to witness this information about highly nutritious foods and preservation methods essential for surviving crises disappear. You can also find a book about herbal remedies from Nicole Pellion on their store. If you're viewing this on TV, you can look up our channel, Frugal Solutions, on your phone or tablet and find the books by clicking the link in our channel description or any other video description. Nettles. Stinging nettles possess a remarkable nutritional profile that Amish communities have long acknowledged. Beneath the plant's tiny defensive needles lies a veritable nutritional goldmine that generously rewards careful harvesting. Dried nettle leaves contain up to 40% protein by weight, rendering them more protein-rich than almost any other plant. For Amish families who practice limited meat consumption, these wild greens became an indispensable dietary supplement throughout history. The sting originates from tiny hollow hairs that inject a concoction of chemicals. Yet, this defense mechanism disappears entirely after a mere 30 seconds of cooking, transforming the nettles into tender, spinach-like greens. Amish harvesting techniques have been meticulously refined over generations. Young harvesters learn to snip the top 4 inches during spring when the leaves are at their most tender. Special thick canvas gloves, often homemade, protect hands during the collection process. An Amish man I know claims he only harvests nettles barehanded. When I asked him why his hands weren't red, he winked and confided that the secret is borrowing his wife's gloves when she isn't looking. Nutritionally, nettles contain more iron than spinach, more calcium than milk, and 7 times more vitamin C than oranges by weight. They are also abundant in anti-inflammatory compounds, which explains their long-standing use in Amish remedies for arthritis. Unlike garden vegetables that require perfect conditions, nettles thrive in partial shade and poor soil, precisely where most food crops struggle. They're akin to that relative who shows up wearing an inappropriate outfit but somehow possesses the exact knowledge to fix everyone's problems. And speaking of struggle, there's a forgotten crop that flourishes in poor soil, naturally deters pests, returns annually, and might even contribute to controlling blood sugar. And most individuals have no inkling of its existence. Jerusalem artichoke. All right, it's time for me to let the secret out. This is the crop I've been reserving just for this moment. Jerusalem artichokes are Native American tubers that Amish farmers have cultivated for many generations. These knobby underground treasures might resemble ginger's less graceful cousin, but their growing power is truly remarkable. A small patch measuring merely 10 by 10 feet can yield up to 200 pounds of nutritious tubers. That quantity is sufficient to feed a family for months, all from a space smaller than most living rooms. Amish gardeners typically plant them along fence lines where little else grows well, effectively converting wasted space into productive food zones. The plant itself grows quite tall, often reaching 10 feet, and displays cheerful yellow flowers that bear a resemblance to small sunflowers. This is no mere coincidence, as they are botanical relatives. Unlike most garden vegetables that demand constant pampering, these plants practically raise themselves. They are so self-sufficient that Amish gardeners often remark that the most challenging aspect of growing Jerusalem artichokes is preventing them from growing where you don't want them. What renders these tubers truly special is a carbohydrate known as inulin, not insulin, which does not cause blood sugar levels to spike. For diabetic members within Amish communities, these vegetables offer valuable starchy satisfaction without the health concerns associated with regular potatoes. They're the only vegetable I know that comes with its own distinctive sound effects about 2 hours after dinner. The tubers store energy so efficiently that they can survive being left in the ground throughout freezing Pennsylvania winters, only to be dug up as needed. Amish families store harvested tubers in sand-filled boxes within their root cellars, where they remain crisp and flavorful until spring. The tubers possess a delightful, nutty flavor when roasted, somewhat like a cross between water chestnuts and potatoes, and can effectively replace potatoes in almost any recipe. Just one word of caution, passed down through generations of Amish dinners: newcomers should begin with small portions. The inulin that makes these tubers so beneficial for health can also lead to impressive amounts of gas in the digestive tract of those unaccustomed to it. Mint. Mint plants necessitate containment in Amish gardens to curtail their spreading tendencies. A 5-gallon bucket with drainage holes in its bottom, buried with only the rim exposed above soil level, effectively keeps mint's underground runners from overrunning the entire garden. Amish gardeners don't limit themselves to just one type of mint. Their gardens often showcase several varieties, each with its own specific applications. Peppermint aids in settling upset stomachs and alleviating headaches. Spearmint brightens cold beverages and flavors desserts. Apple mint introduces a fruity dimension to teas. Chocolate mint brings a surprising sweetness to after-dinner drinks. The essential oils in mint achieve their peak concentration just before the plant begins to flower. At this precise juncture, Amish harvesters clip stems in the early morning after the dew has evaporated, but before the hot sun can draw out the volatile oils. One medium-sized plant harvested in this manner yields enough leaves for approximately 30 cups of fresh tea. These oils don't merely taste good, they render mint remarkably useful. Though, as my 70-year-old neighbor discovered after disregarding the Amish advice concerning containment, he went to bed with a garden and awoke to find he had a mint farm. The only thing proliferating faster than his mint is his wife's list of "I told you so's." His experience perfectly illustrates why proper planting methods are so crucial. The natural cooling sensation derived from menthol explains why Amish families have long applied crushed mint leaves to minor burns and insect bites. This same compound provides welcome relief during the summer heat, cooling the body from within when consumed as tea. While modern gardeners might cultivate mint as something of an afterthought, Amish communities transform this robust perennial into a valuable source of income through value-added products. Dried mint bundles, mint-infused vinegars, and mint salves convert this garden escapee into profitable items at local markets. Wild garlic. Wild garlic emerges each spring in Amish woodlands, blanketing the ground with its slender green shoots before the forest canopy fully develops. This woodland variety flourishes in partial shade, an environment where few food crops can successfully grow, making it a valuable component of the Amish food system. Chemical analysis indicates that wild garlic contains up to 40% more allicin than conventional garlic bulbs. This compound is responsible for garlic's distinctive aroma and its impressive health benefits, including natural antibiotic properties that Amish families have depended on for generations. Harvesting adheres to strict sustainable guidelines passed down through families. Gatherers never take more than 1/3 of the plants from any single area, thereby ensuring that plenty remain to reproduce. Digging tools are used in a manner that disturbs the soil minimally, and any fallen leaves are carefully replaced afterward. This meticulous stewardship explains why some Amish communities have been able to harvest from the same forest patches for over a century. The flavor profile differs dramatically from that of supermarket varieties. Wild garlic delivers a complex taste characterized by grassy notes, followed by a sharp garlic punch that mellows considerably when cooked. When discussing its distinctive aroma, an old Amish gentleman shared that after 50 years of marriage, his wife says she marks the calendar with 2 fishing seasons, trout season and wild garlic season. Both traditions, he explained, conclude in precisely the same manner, with him sleeping on the porch. Preservation techniques serve to maintain these distinctive flavors throughout the winter. Small batches are pickled in apple cider vinegar, dried slowly at low temperatures, or preserved in oil. Each method highlights different facets of wild garlic's character, bestowing upon Amish kitchens a versatile flavor palette. Foraging expeditions have evolved into something of a family tradition, with older children instructing younger ones on how to identify the plants correctly. This transfer of knowledge ensures that sustainable harvesting practices persist through the generations. Crabapples. Crabapple trees on Amish homesteads fulfill multiple practical functions. Laboratory tests have confirmed what Amish preservers have intuitively known for generations. Crabapples contain 15 to 20% more pectin than regular apples. This natural gelling compound transforms otherwise runny fruit juices into perfectly set jams and jellies, all without the need for commercial additives. Timing is absolutely crucial when it comes to harvesting. Amish families wait patiently for the first light frost before they begin collecting crabapples. This cold snap serves to concentrate the sugars within the fruit while simultaneously maintaining maximum pectin levels. The fruit should feel firm to the touch but not rock hard, a test that many Amish children learn by assisting with the harvest. These trees perform a dual role in Amish planting strategies. Beyond producing valuable preserving aids, crabapple blossoms provide essential early-season nectar for honeybees at a time when few other flowers have opened. This strategic placement ensures that pollinators are well fed and actively working nearby just as the main orchard begins to bloom. One 80-year-old Amish farmer I know shares his wisdom about crabapples with the younger generations. These trees, he says, are like the elders of the orchard, not as sweet as the fancy varieties, but far more reliable. After 50 years of marriage, he has learned that it's much the same with people. The trees themselves demand almost no maintenance. While regular apple trees necessitate constant pruning, spraying, and general coddling, crabapples largely fend for themselves. They shrug off diseases that commonly plague fancier varieties and produce dependable yields even in poor soil. Their naturally compact size means that no tall ladders are required for harvesting, an important consideration in communities that tend to avoid modern safety equipment. Not all crabapples taste identical. Amish growers maintain distinct varieties for different purposes. Some possess spicy notes perfect for chutneys, while others offer hints of citrus that brighten preserves. The most highly prized types contain just enough sweetness to balance their inherent tartness in specialty butters and sauces. Buckwheat. Buckwheat reaches maturity from seed to harvest in a mere 70 days, making it substantially faster than corn, 100 days, or wheat, 120 days. Despite its name, buckwheat bears no relation to wheat at all. It is, in fact, more closely related to rhubarb and sorrel, which makes it naturally gluten-free. This botanical anomaly produces triangle-shaped seeds that Amish farmers value for their unique nutty flavor and remarkable growing speed. The plants themselves look nothing like typical grains. Instead of growing tall, narrow stalks, buckwheat spreads into bushy plants adorned with delicate white flowers. These blooms appear just 3 weeks after planting and persist for nearly a month, creating a spectacular visual display across the fields. Amish farming rotations deliberately incorporate buckwheat between main crops. The plant's aggressive root system breaks up compacted soil, while its dense foliage effectively smothers weeds that would otherwise necessitate hand removal. Studies have demonstrated that a single planting of buckwheat can reduce field weed pressure by up to 75% for the subsequent crop, a natural herbicide that requires no chemicals. Buckwheat's speed renders it particularly valuable during difficult growing seasons. As one 70-year-old Amish farmer often tells younger farmers, "Buckwheat and I have something in common. We both got more reliable with age. The difference is buckwheat matures in 70 days, while I took 70 years. And it actually improves the soil, while I just complain about my aching back." This wisdom underscores why many Amish farmers maintain buckwheat as a form of crop insurance against weather-related challenges. Bees produce a distinctive honey from buckwheat flowers, which is darker and more robust in flavor than clover honey. This black honey commands premium prices at market stands, with Amish beekeepers coordinating plantings specifically for this specialty product. Modern agriculture largely abandoned buckwheat in favor of crops with higher yields, but this decision overlooks its minimal input requirements. Buckwheat needs approximately half the water of corn and thrives with little to no fertilizer, making it exceptionally resource efficient. Broad beans. Broad beans stand tall throughout the winter months when most garden plants are dormant underground. Amish gardens feature these cold, hardy plants not only for food, but also as living soil enrichers. Small nodules on their roots house special bacteria that convert nitrogen from the air into plant-available food in the soil. A healthy patch of broad beans can fix up to 40 pounds of nitrogen per acre, which is equivalent to applying a free bag of expensive fertilizer without any effort on my part. These legumes are not delicate when it comes to temperature. They can withstand cold down to 15 degrees, maintaining their green structure when other plants have long since succumbed to winter. This persistent greenery helps prevent soil erosion during harsh weather conditions, while also providing protection for beneficial insects. Their growth pattern complements other Amish crops perfectly. Planted in the fall after the main harvests are completed, broad beans grow slowly through the winter before flourishing in early spring. This timing provides a fresh source of protein just when winter food stores are at their lowest, bridging a critical hunger gap that challenged generations before the advent of refrigeration. The beans themselves are nutritional powerhouses. Unlike modern string beans, which are mostly water, broad beans contain 25% protein by weight. This is comparable to chicken, but without the need for coop cleaning. Their meaty texture made them traditional meat substitutes during lean times. These beans have long been a staple in Amish community meals. In Amish country, I'm told, broad beans are served at every wedding dinner. "Nothing tests new in-laws faster," one fellow joked, "than a long buggy ride home after a bean feast." Harvesting follows a dual approach. The tender young pods provide fresh eating in the spring, while the mature beans are dried for year-round protein. When dried correctly, they can be stored for up to 3 years without losing nutritional value, a crucial backup during times of crop failure. Purslane. Purslane contains more omega-3 fatty acids than any other leafy vegetable. While doctors often recommend fish for these essential fats, a single cup of purslane provides similar benefits with about 400 milligrams of omega-3s, more than many fish oil supplements offer. This nutritional powerhouse is carefully protected in Amish gardens, though it is frequently overlooked elsewhere. Nutritional analysis reveals an impressive profile that extends beyond just the omega-3s. Purslane packs 7 times more beta-carotene than carrots, 6 times more vitamin E than spinach, and 14 times more magnesium than broccoli. These remarkable nutrient levels explain why Amish communities have diligently maintained this plant in their diets, while modern agriculture has effectively declared war on it. The succulent texture of purslane comes from its exceptional water storage capabilities. The plant thrives on just 1/3 of the water that lettuce requires, making it perfectly adapted to summer heat when most other salad greens have either bolted or turned bitter. During drought seasons, Amish gardens can still provide fresh greens, thanks in large part to purslane's remarkable drought resistance. As one Amish gardener I know puts it, when the lettuce wilts and the spinach bolts, purslane just smiles at the sun. It's nature's stubborn way of making sure even the worst gardeners still have something healthy for dinner. Harvest methods could not be simpler. Just snip the stems, and they will regrow multiple times throughout the summer. Unlike fussy vegetables that demand specific soil conditions, purslane grows practically anywhere there is sun. Its ability to flourish in poor soil conditions makes it particularly valuable in areas where conventional crops tend to struggle. Traditional Amish salad combinations pair purslane with cucumber and a light vinegar dressing, allowing its mild, slightly lemony flavor to truly shine. The leaves possess a pleasant, almost buttery quality, while the stems provide a satisfying crunch. Young plants taste sweeter, while older leaves develop more tang, both being equally useful in different recipes. Sometimes the most intelligent course of action isn't to find something entirely new. Instead, it's about bringing back what once proved effective. This old crop may have been forgotten by many, but its inherent value hasn't diminished in the slightest. Perhaps it's time for us to once again give it a place in our gardens and on our plates.